An old mental hospital stands at the foot of a mist-shrouded mountain. The light there is always dim and gloomy, as if it is a forgotten world. The hospital corridors are long, winding, and filled with an unsettling silence. The air is filled with the smell of outdated disinfectant and dust that has not been cleaned for a long time, which makes people feel an indescribable depression and fear. When the new nurse Emilia stepped into this place for the first time, she felt a strong sense of uneasiness. She felt something peering at her from the shadows, as if it wanted to devour her. However, in order to make a living, she must overcome all this and start her work. Emilia's main job is to take care of those patients, especially the patient in Ward 13 that everyone talks about. The patients in that ward always seemed unusually quiet, and their eyes were empty, as if their life had been sucked away by some invisible force. Emilia always had a strong feeling that they seemed to know something that she did not. As time passes, some bizarre things begin to happen. Patients suddenly disappear and are found in strange places days later. Their eyes are hollower, their words more slurred. The nurses begin to talk about the curse of the hospital, and Emilia becomes increasingly uneasy. One night, Emilia sees a dark shadow in the hospital room. It was at the end of the corridor, moving towards her and disappearing into Ward 13. Emilia's heartbeat accelerated instantly. She quickly ran to the ward, only to find that all the patients had disappeared. Emilia began to search for them frantically. There was no sign of them in the ward, corridors, stairs, or basement. She even began to wonder if she was crazy, and if the dark shadow was just her imagination. Just when Emilia was about to collapse, she heard a deep voice, which seemed to come from the depths of the ward. She follows the sound and ends up in a forgotten basement. There, she found all the patients who had disappeared. Their eyes were empty and their bodies were stiff, as if they were statues frozen in fear. Emilia's heart was instantly filled with fear. She wanted to run away, but her body seemed to be locked and unable to move. In the darkness, the shadow appeared again, moving slowly towards her. She could feel its presence, but could not see its face clearly. Suddenly, the shadow disappeared, and a deep voice sounded in Emilia's ears. "You are next." At daybreak, others in the hospital discovered that Emilia and the patients in Ward 13 had disappeared. They searched around the hospital, but apart from some inexplicable clues, there was no news about them. Ward 13 was empty again, as if those people had never existed. The story ends here, and the whereabouts of Emilia and those patients remain a mystery. People in the hospital began to talk about the new curse, but the gloomy hospital remained as usual, standing at the foot of the fog-shrouded mountain, as if it were a never-ending nightmare in itself. Its corridors are still so long, narrow and winding, and the air is still filled with a kind of breathless silence and fear. This story makes people wonder, what is that dark shadow? What is its purpose? Is it a supernatural being, or a horrifying secret hidden in the hospital? Or is it simply a manifestation of patients' deepest fears and anxieties? The answers to these questions may only be known by the disappeared Emilia and those patients.